Ever since I was a little kid, I have been terrified of bees. Whether it be bumblebees, hornets, or wasps, whenever I heard them buzzing, I would go running inside. It got to the point that one of two things would happen. Either I'd cowered inside to the next day, or I would wait till my parents told me all the bees were gone. But we've been hearing the bees have been gone a lot more lately, because of something scientists call colony collapse. What this is essentially we see that bees are starting to go away, directly at the hands of traditional farming practices. You see, what we do in the United States currently is we blast our plants with aggressive synthetic herbicides and pesticides. These chemicals are not only harmful to us, the consumers, but also to the pollinators. The US, our plants, what we eat, are directly responsible for the longevity of bees and what we can do as a population. It gets down to the point where we see that traditional farming measures are going to spell disaster for the human race. Decades ago, we experienced something called the Dust Bowl, directly at the hands of traditional farming practices, and we have not changed what we've done since. But colony collapse is a disastrous threat we have, something that Yale University predicts will cause mass extinction of the human race in the next 60 years. Therefore, it leads us to ask, would switching to organic farming practices help mitigate the effects of colony collapse? We'll analyze this through the rotary four-way test. The first, is it the truth? Quite simply, yes, it is the truth. Harvard and Yale both did independent studies coming to a similar conclusion. They found that colony collapse will directly cause not only the extinction of bees, most species on the planet, but also humans. Harvard came to the conclusion that the main way we can fix this is by transitioning over to organic agriculture. Not only the production of organic goods, but also the purchasing of organic goods, as that's the place we start. When we increase demand for organic goods, we increase the amount that is produced, something that we will see have amazing long-term effects for the future, and something we can do to help mitigate the effects of colony collapse. On to the second question. Is it fair to all concerned? Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking. If I go to Bueller's right now, I'm going to see two boxes of spinach, one that's $8 and one that's $4. The one that's $8 has a nice stamp on it that says organically produced. The one that's $4 is just a regular box of spinach. But a lot of people are worried that transitioning over to organic is going to mean a higher bill for groceries. However, Forbes found in California that this is the exact opposite. California passed policy to help encourage the production and consumption of organic goods. This directly caused the exact flip of organic versus traditionally farmed goods in the market. Basically, what happened is the organically produced goods were cheaper than those of their traditional counterparts. This is extremely beneficial as we're no longer consuming very harmful chemicals and getting better goods at a lesser price than we were before. Not only that, we're benefiting the bees because we're getting less chemicals around the bees. We're allowing them to thrive, build new hives, and enter areas they weren't able to before due to the extreme amounts of chemicals that were there. But the benefits don't just stop with the bees or the people. It also helps the farmers. Because right now in the United States, we offer subsidies to farms that are transitioning over to organic. We give them breaks on their taxes to help them innovate and produce new ways of farming that'll help us not experience any risk of colony collapse in the future, something that we aren't taking advantage of because there's not a demand for organic goods. When we increase the demand for organic goods, we allow for new innovations in the farming world, something that we haven't seen for decades. On to the third question. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Starting with the goodwill. Now, it's easy to say that you can't have goodwill if you don't have a human race, because that is a threat that is looming in the status quo. However, it dives a little deeper, because Duke University found that when bees are raised in organic areas, there are two things that happen. The first, they're less agitated. They're less likely to sting people, and that's better for everyone. But they also found that the effects of getting stung by a bee for those who are allergic are not as strong as when they are grown in organic ways, because they're not plastered in chemicals and really harmful things we don't want entering our bodies. Instead, they're organically raised, so we're not going to see as disastrous effects of those who are allergic to bees when they get stung. On to friendship. Now, I'm not sure if Jerry Seinfeld's A Bee Movie is true. I don't know if we can be friends with bees or talk about jazz, but what we do know is we share this planet. It's not just our planet, and we need to be responsible for everything that inhabits it. And right now, with how the human population has been going, we see a concerning risk that we think we own this planet. We think that it's ours for the taking and nothing else matters. However, we're seeing the exact impact of this when we look to the bees. Because when we don't share our planet with the bees, we only increase the risk of colony collapse. Because when we don't share, we don't get to eat. On to the final question. Is it beneficial to all concerned? Now, we've covered that it's cheaper for you to buy organic goods, it's cheaper for farmers to innovate and produce, and it's better for bees. But when it comes to holistically, what we can see is that organic goods benefit everyone, not just bees, not just people. In fact, they benefit their environments because organic farming practices encourage something called crop rotation. So the same crop is not grown on the exact same field at the same year at the same time. In fact, it encourages the production of new crops, allowing for more nutrients in the soil and allowing for more bountiful harvests that will only see better impacts to. As food will get cheaper, there will be more options in your local supermarket, and there will be less harmful chemicals in the food we eat. A recent study done by Stanford found that the current food we eat is increasing our susceptibility to cold and flu, because traditional goods are just plastered in antibiotics, and when we eat these, we're losing our ability to combat these diseases. However, if you eat organic, you have a better chance of combating the flu or the cold or the recent COVID-19 pandemic. Eating organic increases your immune system and only creates benefits. In conclusion, we've seen that it's the truth, that it's fair to all concerned, building goodwill and friendships, and beneficial to everyone. There's just one last problem: what we can do. Moving forward, it's easy to say to just go full organic. I'd love to say that, but it's not economically feasible for everyone or something that everyone's willing to do. So we start slow. Instead of buying your $4 spinach, just buy the $8 spinach. Over time, it'll get cheaper, and you'll see this effects throughout the supermarket. You'll be saving yourselves, your health, the bees, but most importantly, the planet. Thank you.